The biggest lie we've been told is that neuropathy is irreversible and there's no cure. They do it on purpose. The medical system lies to us.
What's going on, Tommy?
Welcome to the Fat Rabbit Stick Show, show number 17.
That's right. That's right. We live. They ain't kicked us off yet, have they?
I'm telling you what, I enjoyed that. I don't know where he reached deep into the Greer Dragway archives to come up with that, didn't he?
That's definitely takes you back for sure. I was looking there. That's what, probably 94, 5, just guessing. And
I think it might have been a little earlier than that. And I got just one thing. Was that 529 on the
Listen, I was going to say, did you see, like, even that pair? It was Bill Revis and Mike White, and White got spotted because I think Bill Revis had a 514 on his win.
The dry hops make you faster?
Oh yeah, baby. I miss them babies.
We might start mixing that into the routine next year.
That's right. That's pretty cool to see for sure. Yeah.
You pay attention to how many people had their gloves and their long jackets on.
I know That place was packed too. You look like
yeah.
to me.
Oh yeah,
So,
they were the good old days, man.
oh, we got a pretty cool show tonight. I know. Got Phil Durham on to talk about his track championship, and then we got you, Tommy. We're going
Yes,
to we're going to acknowledge you your for your season as well. But before we get into Phil, let's talk about our over there at Union. I want to acknowledge those guys and girls, track champions. And if Chad wants to join in there, if he's got a little bit to add to.
a little bit of knowledge.
What's up, Lizard?
Very little knowledge. Don't. I can't use up what that I got left. But yeah, man. Hey, can we talk about that video again? Just that's the first time. Who was the dragster in the first pair there in the left lane? I remember the car, but I can't remember who. I think I know everybody else on that video, but
that was actually Chris Johnson's dragster.
Okay.
And I don't know if Alan was in it or if Chris was actually driving.
Yeah.
But
we gotta bring back the dial in on the side of the slick. I mean,
yeah, I seen that. I seen Kevin Scales had on his. There you go, right there, CJ.
A lot of them guys had them Kevin Brennan wheels on them.
He got mad at me this week, so I got to lay off of him a little bit.
Well, that was Turtle that was against Kevin Scales, right?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
that's what.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
we got to bring back the dial in on the side of the slick. If nothing, heck with these LED digital boards, we got to have shoe polish on the side of the slick.
On the slick, that's right. What about them? That old chirp going on in that old Paul Smith's car. God, that's a sound that you'll never forget. I don't think.
There's never been a better chirp in all of drag racing.
I'll say them old crickets couldn't get them out there, but yeah, that's cool, man.
And he's leaving leaving the same time as Randy was in the dragster. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, that had to be 94, CJ, because I'm pretty sure Randy's car was built in 94. And that was so that had be pretty fresh, pretty new build there out of Horton's shop. But yeah, that was cool. I thought about you, Chad, with Bill Revis. That was pretty neat to see that.
Well, see that when he got the Beretta, I was racing during that time, so I wasn't really helping him. Bobby used to help him. Bobby Kaufman helped him, so that I helped Bill more back in the old Monza days. But yeah, cool to see Bill's.
Was that 514 or 519?
I couldn't read it, but yeah, I know he went in the fours with that car at one time, but I mean, even before then, it was always like 5-teens, 5-0. So
was about like I think White was like 540s at the time, if I had to guess. I'd say you can tell he got spotted. That was pretty cool to see. But
yeah, that's a cool video. I like that.
Tom, start us off with Union's track champions.
Union in top was Scotty Watts, tough racer. I got to talk with him a lot down in Montgomery.
He's a cool dude, man. Very cool dude.
Mod Kevin Scott, he boy, you see him getting it done around there. Just watching him, he knows what he's doing. Dustin Carroll was in Sportsman, and Kyle Chapman in the juniors.
Kyle, yeah, they race Greer a good bit. That's actually Lee Ash's grandson.
Really?
Yeah, so they come over, him and his brother, come over and race a good bit with us at Greer. So that was cool to see that.
In the team, you had Jordan Fieldback. He wanted it Greer, and he picked it up over at Union. And then Hunter Jackson was the Craig Hipp Series champion.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's Billy and Ann Jackson. They're around like Pageland area. They've always run Darlington, Pageland,
Yeah.
that area. But I think that's their grandson in that truck. And so I think he's done pretty good starting off. He's got a sister that runs juniors too. But Chad, chime in there on it. I know you're familiar with the Carols, so
Yeah, which we'll mention more on that in just a second here. But yeah, Dustin and Morgan and Josh. I mean, uh, if nothing else, I said they're not afraid to travel. I mean, you see them at Darlington, you see them at Union, you'll see them at Carolina, you'll see them they were at Farmington the other week for the foot brake race up there. I had to run against Dustin down in Florida, one of the trips that I made down there. So they're again, as we talked about, more Henry said, they're not afraid to put the miles on their vehicles and stuff to go race.
yes. Oh, Tom, you want to talk about where shows group there?
Yeah. Cody Oxner, he's normally a box car, but he's been, I think he got him another motor in there this year, and he had her dialed in. But Cody Oxner won the box class.
Cody's pretty versatile. Like, far as like you're saying, he can use the button on the bottom. He can foot brake. I mean, and he's proved he can turn loose on top. So I think that motor speeding up's really.
It helped.
Old Vegas pretty good. But.
Josh Carroll in no box won the points, and then Steven Rogers in the juniors. Can't say enough about him. I think we was talking about him. He's going out this year, so he's going out on top. And then Brantley Duncan in the sportsman class.
Yeah,
picked the weight up.
Which I think the Brantleys run some at Greer too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Chad, I know you talked about Josh yesterday when we were talking.
Right, and they're again going back a little bit what I was mentioning before, and the other thing too, I mean, like I said, that usually when you go to a lot of these tracks, I mean, Dustin and Josh especially, I mean, they'll run sportsman and foot brake, no box, depending on what track you're at. Like I said, they all came to the 10K race at Greer as well, and then Morgan, and then I think Morgan's boyfriend Ryan Snipes. They all kind of travel together. Ryan's actually who beat me out at Mississippi for the IHRA championship. But yeah, going back to Josh though. So I was looking on like the results from like Las Vegas for when they had the NHRA version of like the Summit Series. I forget exactly what they call it in the NHRA series, but I saw the name Josh Carroll in the finals of Sportsman, and I thought, what's the chances? Is that the same Josh Carroll I know? And then anyway, I got to investigate, and sure enough, I mean, it was. He won the bracket finals at South Georgia at the NHRA bracket finals. He was down there representing Carolina Dragway. It's my understanding he left from there, went to Montgomery with Tom and them for the WDRA World Finals. And then he left from there and went to Las Vegas with his car and actually ended up getting in the finals of the Sportsman. So he was runner up in the national series on the NHRA side for their Summit Sportsman classes. So, and like I said, looking at the names in that Sportsman class, I mean, like Nick Hastings, Dave Harvey, and all them. Wow. So, I mean, he actually had to run Dave first round. Seemed like Dave turned it a foul red, but still, I mean, Josh made it through. And they're just ended up one round shorter. I mean, we know Dustin's the inaugural Sportsman Summit Super Series World Champion for IHRA the first year they had it, and then Josh here obviously making it to the big stage as well. So,
because that race used to be at Pomona, right?
Right, and I think during COVID it had to get moved around. So now they have it at
Like,
Vegas.
I know that's what I believe. Hancock went out there that one year and runnered up.
Joseph Badwell done the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Timmy Smith from over there toward Montgomery Way, I believe he had gone out there once. But
Right.
anyways, that's pretty neat about Josh. That's really neat.
Well, I mean, I just when I saw the name, I thought, what's the chances there's another Josh Carroll in the world that runs Sportsman? And then when I looked on Central, it said from Olar, South Carolina. I thought, well, no, that's got to be him. So anyway, thanks to Trevor Jenkins, he fed me some information about where the whole traveling and mileage and going from event to event to event there. So kudos to him and like I say, kudos to all of them. They all travel a bit. So
yeah. Well, speaking about Trevor, I'll take this one, Tom.
Right.
Shady Sides track champions. Trevor Jenkins, that's my bud. He in that dragster, he won top. He was top track champion. Some fella named Chad Dotson was foot brake track champion. Tom, you know him?
Oh yeah. Got a picture of him right here, Bobby, right here.
But yeah, so and then Hunter Buchanan was the junior track champion. So that's pretty cool. Chad, you got any thoughts on Shady Sides points deal, like their races and what they do for bracket racing?
Yeah, I mean, I've told Seth and Zach both. I mean, I've mentioned it before. I mean, anytime we have an opportunity to race, I mean, I'm thankful for somebody that's willing to put together a program. I mean, Zach and Seth, they've admittedly said, they're learning as they go along. There's things that they've done better, things that they want to do better, things they want to improve on. So, and to me, I guess it gives us an option. I mean, with them being IHRA and some of these other tracks are WDRA. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to try to, if you enjoy going to the bracket finals, like I mentioned the last time I think I was on y'all's show, but I just enjoy the bracket finals. I enjoy going. I mean, I'm thankful that I can go and participate. So, but I'm glad Shady Side's put together a bracket program. I mean, joined IHRA. I mean, what we all know, they've never been sanctioned before. So, for them to step up and do that, and whatever's going to happen in the future between all the sanctions, but for the time being, I'm thankful for another opportunity to build a race, and they put together a points program and payout. So, hats off to them.
Hey, folks that are watching, tuning in, if you help us out, if you hear us drop names, I mean, tag these people. I love for them to, might not mean nothing to them, but if they can tag these people in this stream, and get this out, further than where we're at now, allow these people to see that we're talking about them, it'd be pretty cool. But I saw CJ had put up about turtles. He said, "What's up? What's going on, Turtle? How are you?" But if we want to roll into talk with Phil, he was our foot brake track champion at Greer. Bring him on. What's up?
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
How you guys doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Captain's
Tom?
in
The captain is in the house.
Yes, sir. We're probably getting in on his bedtime, ain't we?
We're getting close. That's for sure.
It's like, we better hurry it up, huh? Talk to him, Tom.
Well, we just first of all, congratulations, and you ain't been doing this a long time, and you sure have learned really, really, really fast. How much credit do you give Sammy and you being as successful as you are?
Hey, I've got to admit, Sammy did teach me to race. he's coached me through, and when I started, I really knew nothing about it except when Austin, my son, was running junior dragsters.
Yeah.
And you know, when somebody else is running, you always like, well, why didn't you cut a better light? You know, why didn't you? Yeah, get in that car and try it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you'll be asking yourself that question.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, don't blow Sammy's head up now. He's
Yeah, I
playing
know.
watching now. He gonna better work tomorrow.
What got y'all started? I mean, what actually? I mean, what drove you over to the racetrack and say, man, I want to do this?
Well, it was actually Austin. He was the one that got interested in junior dragsters, and I really knew nothing about racing. And of course, we went and got him a bar car built. And I remember the first time we came over there, we'd been up there with Bobby Barr up there to Mooresville and test drove it, you know. And that thing was running. Austin was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. You know, it's got limits on it, you know, of what you're supposed to run. When we went down the track first time with no weight on it or nothing, Roy, he was standing at the back door of our trailer when we got back, wanting to know how old he was, you know. So we had to start borrowing lead shots to put in that thing, you know.
Oh, Lord.
So then as we went along, you know, he outgrew that, and I had a little bit of health issues, and then it was time he wanted a car, you know, to run, and that's when we bought the old truck I'm running now. And it was just running like 760s. And back to kind of the Sammy story was, you know, we'd go over on Thursday nights, and he'd run a 760 first time, and next time it might be 770, and we couldn't figure out why it's slowing down, but we didn't know you were supposed to cool them off, you know. I mean, that's where we've come from, you know. And Sammy had to teach us all that, you know. So, but it was great to win this year, even though I just did squeak by. My man Chad there, he's tough, you know. And I told him, I said, you would probably represent Greer better than I would down there in Montgomery, you know.
No.
But I had a couple of good laps down there.
Oh, you did good. You did good. I knew because I had told Sammy if we could keep you on the green side of that tree and them 00, you know, and Chad will tell you, I've seen Chad just be on it. And man, them 001 reds and stuff, they'll just get you every now. But you got to cut it close. You can't leave much on the table. And
that's what I was telling Chad. You know, I've used the expression with him before. You know, I thought I was down there where the fish bite. You know, so and then I turn it 3 red, and my man's 80. You know, yeah. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
I'd rather him be 3 or 4 green. You know,
right.
It wouldn't feel as bad about it. But
y'all, the way that ended over there at Greer, that was really exciting, man. That was, I know, as far as you, especially 2 of you guys, and then Harold was in the mix of that. But I mean, that's for a spectator to watch. It was neat, but I'm sure that was not so much for you, the 2 of y'all.
Yeah, Harold Galt, he come up from nowhere, really. You know, I mean, when the race started, you like, it's me and Chad who's gonna win this, you know. And it got down to the end, the final round, and someone come up saying, if Harold Galt wins this round, he wins, you know. And you're like, God, so it's a nail biter, you know.
Oh yeah, it was.
I remember sitting in the lanes for 3rd round. I mean, like, I know Phil had already lost first round. So I mean, he couldn't make any more points, which they're in my mind. I'm thinking, you know, that's helping me. And I just need to turn on. I mean, I knew 2 win lights tied me. I wasn't sure where the whole tiebreaker system would come along, but anyway. But Cody lost in front of me, and I mean, I honestly, the thought went through my mind, like, you know, I turn on this win line, I'm the champion.
Right.
And then I say Bristol lays down a great lap beside me. I mean, we both make a great lap. Hers was better, but yeah, I go up to Phil to shake his hand, and I was like, congratulations. He's like, man, it ain't over. I was like, what do you mean it ain't over? Michael Smart says if Harold Galt gets the finals, he's gonna tie us. And thinking he might have had more wins than Phil did, even though he had to buy back more. But I was like, well, man, I hadn't even looked that far back. I was just trying to keep. I had my eyes on Phil and Cody. I guess I didn't play it out to any further, but sure enough, after Phil said that, I went and got on my phone. I was like, man, they ain't lying.
Right.
And then
And
Harold just keeps marching through the field there. So
he did. You know,
kudos to Bristol. I mean, she took you out, took me out, and Harold all in the same.
She did, man. You know, the worst lot she had on that was a 17. You know,
Yeah.
I actually told her after I won, I said, I appreciate it. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have won this. You know, so she played a big role in it. But she took me out first round, and what you, Chad, third round. Then Harold got in the final round. You know, so.
To do that with y'all, you know, she hadn't bottom bulbed,
hadn't raced
in all year. I know for sure. You know.
Yeah, I hope she don't next year.
Phil, if you wasn't racing, what would you be doing on Saturday night, Saturdays, whatever? You know.
I guess I'd be playing golf. Golf and racing's about my pastime.
I was gonna say that's. I heard you could play a little golf yourself.
I think Chad's the player. He could probably beat me at that too.
I was gonna say maybe we need to get y'all together on the golf course too.
Yeah.
Me and Tom we'll caddy for you and drive the golf cart.
Well, the way my legs are, I'd have to just drive the golf cart around. I wouldn't be able to throw no bags around for nobody.
I'm not gonna let him beat me at everything I like.
I play with Chad, Tom, so you ain't got to do a lot of walking. It's usually just straightforward, and you're up there on the green, and it's over with. So
that's what I figure.
That's back when I played a good bit. I don't play enough now. I'm in the woods and everywhere else. So.
Getting your money's worth now, huh?
That's what a buddy of mine used to say. He says, anybody go out here and he said you don't get your money's worth by shooting less shots. He says,
yeah,
I'm in there where I get all my money's worth and beat them out of there.
And scenic view.
Yeah.
Phil, you want to hear a funny golf story? The first time I golfed with Chad?
Yes, sir.
Me and Kevin shared clubs. We went up to Red Fox, and Chad's with us. You know, he's the only reputable guy with us. They know Chad.
Yeah.
I worked there. Keep that in mind. I mean, that's where I grew up working at in high school. Was the same golf course.
We get to about hole 3, and Chad's like, what kind of golf balls are y'all hitting? And I said, well, I don't know, man. We didn't have any, and they said you could get a whole bucket for $4, so we just got a bucket.
It's like round and white.
Yeah, we've just been hitting these out of this bucket.
Oh, Lord.
Like, those are range balls. You can't take those out on the golf course. I'm like, I mean, man, I don't know. We just needed some golf balls, and that was the cheapest option.
That's funny.
Yeah, they come and tracked us down shortly after. But I said, Chad told us which ones to get.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to him.
How about getting your money's worth though in golf carts? After Kevin hits, you never see him. He just takes off through the woods with a few clubs. Then you get up the green, and here he comes walking out. So
obviously he listens, Rusty. So I mean, Kevin he'll tee off, and then he'll get a hybrid, a 7-iron, a pitching wedge, and a putter, and you'll hear 3 branches break, 4 swings, and then he'll 3-putt, and he'll be like, "What'd you get?" And I'll be like, "Bogey." He's like, "Yeah, I got double."
I get ready to say, Phil, his scoring don't add up to the strokes.
He uses the best club on the cart, and that's the pencil.
Yeah, that's the best wood he's got.
That's right.
That's
Chad,
right.
What you got for Phil?
Well, I mean, talking about getting back to the racing part. I mean, if there's any, and let me back up a little bit. This whole representing. I mean, if you are in the track championship, I don't care what track you at. It don't matter. I mean, you deserve to be the track champion. So I don't hear none of this representing better and this, that, and other. But tying that in though, I mean, from what I noticed and what other people, I mean, you're kind of laid back. You're go easy, take it easy. But when you get in the truck and get your helmet on, I mean, does the competitive field come out then? Does it ramp up then, or you still just as laid back in the truck as you are out of the truck?
Oh, I like winning. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm throwing rocks, I want to be winning.
Well, that leads me into my second question I was going to ask you. So, I mean, and if I can borrow this question from another podcast, used to ask this. I mean, so you are competitive and you like to win. So, do you enjoy winning more, or do you hate losing? Which one would you classify on that?
Whew. That's a tough one there, right?
Question.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
really?
when you think about it, do you go there and you just enjoy seeing a win light come on, or and to me that would be the more laid back person like yourself. But to me, I wish I was more laid back, but I can't. I'm that. Ain't me.
I love seeing the wind light come on.
Okay.
Usually if my wind light don't come on, it's from my crazy self. Something I've done wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah,
I like to see the wind light come on.
Oh yeah. So a laid back person, I would say that's their more mentality. Me, that I can't be. I guess I'm more the opposite. I hate to lose. I hate to not. But I know we're accomplishing the same goal in the end. I mean, you want to win, but I'm like you. I can't stand not seeing my win light come on, and I'm automatically already saying, what did I do wrong? Where did I mess up? What should I have done differently? So
right.
But yeah, I wish I could be more laid back like yourself. But kudos to you that you can be that way. I can't. I wish I could.
Well, you always look like you're pretty laid back over there. Till you drop the nose on me out there at the finish line.
So we talked about Sammy and how he's played a big part in getting you going, and then he still was a big part of you guys. He was, yeah, weekly. But what is there anybody else that's along the way that's giving you some advice, some words of encouragement, whatever it be, over there at the racetrack? Is there that one person that's done that for you, or is it pretty much just Sammy's got y'all going and you've done?
The good thing about Greer over there, man, is it's everybody's encouraging. Even when you first get started, it's everybody. If you went around, people's encouraging you. Chad, he's always been encouraging as well, even though I knew some of the things he was saying probably wasn't exactly the truth, but but he was trying to push me along, But I think it's just a good race group over there,
It is. It is.
It really is. And people will help.
Yeah. People want to see you be successful over there.
They do. They do.
And I think
I was going to say too, I mean, a lot of people's always commented, Greer's, and I think they're referencing more about the top class, pro class or whatever, but Greer's tough. I'm telling you, I feel like our foot brake class, I'm not trying to sound higher or mightier than anybody, but you had like 5 to 6 to 7 or 8 regulars.
That's right.
That was gonna win. I mean, like in this past year's a prime example. I mean, there's people that didn't finish in the top 10 that normally always finish in top 10, and it just speaks to the level of competition. I mean, the old saying, "Iron sharpens iron." Our foot brake class has really. Not that there's ever an easy round, but I'm just saying you had to go around there with your game face on every round. So again, that's why I can't be laid back like Phil. I got to keep that competitive mindset to me. So, but our foot brake class is really there's no slouches in the class really.
You're right. I think if you can win at Greer, you can win about anywhere. And I like the competitiveness there that. You have to continue to try to be better to win there,
Right.
I think other tracks might be a little easier than over at Greer, and I think some people don't come there because of how hard it is to win.
That's definite.
Yeah, I agree. And I think y'all as a nucleus over there in the foot brake class. That's just me outside looking in. But I think y'all, like Chad's saying, y'all push each other, and I think you're all good as a group. But I think you guys are all growing. I don't mean growing like, but I mean I think y'all are getting better as a group going forward. I think y'all just push each other so much. Like you're, like you got, like Chad said, there's what I'm gonna say. There's 5 to 8 of you, and maybe more. Just depends on who shows up. That is capable of winning. Roll in there and win every week, every time they show up, and that's tough. That's tough. I mean,
It is.
That's Johnny, and they're saying that we're all friends until we get on the starting line. That's true.
That is true.
Celine had something. CJ, what was Celine saying about? She said Phil Graham needs to make an appearance. Must be that's your dog, I guess.
Yeah, that's my dog. Yeah.
So,
He's
Yeah,
here somewhere.
A lot of them foot breakers have stepped their game up after years and years and years of abuse from Chad Dotson. You know, he's been for the last decade, you know, beating up on people over
well,
there.
I mean, you got Chad, you got I mean, you think about Jay. I mean, Ronnie Forster and Harold.
Yep.
If you go on back, Harold. I mean,
Billy Norris.
Billy's been a tough one, and I think like Phil, you guys, you and Sammy and Mike and help me out. Chris Green. Chad, help me out here.
Jesse,
Harold Galt. Harold Galt.
Years, Jessica.
Jesse, Cody, and Jessica. But as a group, y'all are just y'all keep pushing each other. I think it's cool to see.
And also,
go ahead.
With Ray Crane winning the seasons past at the Turkey Trot race, I mean, he's already told me you expect to see me at Greer more this year. There's going to be another one ad in there. The Widener, Steve Widener. I mean,
he's tough.
Some of them boys that's coming up from Commerce and racing with us. I mean, they're again. I mean, the field itself has grown number wise, but then like I said, the number of just real tough competitors has grown as well. So they're gonna. Here's the last thing I'm saying. I mean, they're gonna ain't trying to take. I want to keep emphasis on field, but you know, I salute the Jay Norrises and the Ronnie Forsters. They're I mean, once again, this is another year. I have never won back-to-back track championships at Greer Dragway. I did win some at Carolina back-to-back, but now I've been on like every other year stretch here the last 2 or 3 years. But there again, I mean, speaking to the level of competition, I mean, I have never won back-to-back. I mean, that's something I wanted to say I could accomplish at some time. Is just so you think about Jay winning like 7 in a row, Ronnie Forster won like 3 or 4 in a row. So hats off to them guys. I said because
they tough.
I've not. They're not that I'm the comparison or what needs to be compared to. I've never done it. I've never won 2 in a row, much less 3 or 4 or 7 in a row. So.
What? Oh, talking about your truck, Phil. Is there is a truck going to be where you stay through the rest of your career, or do you ever find yourself looking for something else? I know you drove the Nova for a while and such as that, but is there something you say, well, man, I'd love to get in that, or I'd love to, or is a truck just, I think y'all fit each other so well. But is there anything you'd ever thought about looking about, mixing it up with, down the road, or?
No, I think the truck is going to be my ride, my last ride. I had the Nova, and it kind of got getting too fast for the old man, especially when we dropped the valve at 565 and it had to put 632 in it. And,
oh my God.
It's blowing by the torque converter running 530s, and people's like, you need to put a 10-inch in it. And I'm like, I'm not going no faster than that. And that's when I sold it. But 530's foot braking's a little too fast. It's hard for them to judge you and hard for me to judge them. So I see that like this truck, it's pretty easy for me to judge going down through there, you know.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be the truck. That's what I'll
I got
run.
you. I got you.
Tom, you still smiling and counting that money over there?
I tell you what, I still ain't got over it yet.
Man, that's great, boy. That is good. I was glad to be
appreciate
there to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It definitely memorable moments for me.
I would say so. Congratulations. You did great.
Thank you.
Phil, I know we can kind of wrap it up if these guys don't have anything else, but man, STI has been a huge supporter, a big staple over at Greer. I mean, when you think of Greer over the last, so many years that your name, the STI name has, sticks with Greer Dragway. And we just can't thank you enough. Us as the four of us, count CJ2, what you do for Greer as a whole, but especially the foot brake class.
I'm just glad we're able to, and plan to be a future supporter of it as well.
It's cool, man. We thank you. Chad, you want to chime in on that, any, or Tom?
As a foot brake racer, thank you to STI. Thank you to all the sponsors that helps at Greer, but specifically STI for foot brake, and it helps the class. You see the names, you see it on the cars, and y'all represent very well. And I'm thankful for all you've done. And thankful that we're all friends and know each other as well.
That's right.
And man, I didn't think you was gonna make it on here. We was afraid you'd get cold feet, and I sure do appreciate you stepping up. You was just like talking with the boys on here, so you did good, and I'm sure you'll probably back on here again some next year.
Well, there for a minute, I didn't think I was gonna be on here either. I was having a little technical difficulties,
Oh, CJ got you hooked up, didn't he?
He did. He walked me through it.
Oh yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you hanging in here with us tonight, and thank you very much, and congratulations again. And
congratulations to you, and I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Phil. We'll see you soon, bud.
Y'all have a great evening.
You too.
Yes,
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Well, I went a little smoother, and he did good. I was really worried about it.
Chad, what did you ask him today? If he was going to be what
I was asking, was we getting VIP Phil or drag racing? If y'all ever see him away from the drag strip, I have to. Is that Phil Durham? I mean, he's got the STI business look to him. So, there's 2 or 3 times we'd be out when I was over in Greer working with my work on. He happened to be in the same restaurant getting something to eat, but yeah, VIP Phil's cool. Which drag racing feels a cool guy, cool dude. But you see him away from the track, he's feels a good dude.
VIP, I like it.
VIP,
the captain.
Yeah.
So I guess we was gonna have Cody on to talk about his sportsman championship, but he wasn't able to come on tonight. But we've had him on earlier in the year, and we can talk a lot about Cody. He's very decorated, very good racer. And like I said on the other show, Celine said, "See, hope Phil has his hat on so they can recognize him." Yeah, he was slicked up. I'll give him that. But yeah, Cody's just very decorated. He wins really anywhere he goes. And you talked about the Carols traveling. Chad, Cody and Jessica don't mind traveling themselves. They'll find themselves somewhere at a racetrack in a skinny minute. But he's a very aggressive driver on the start line and on the finish line.
He can do either or, pro, foot brake.
Yeah, he's proved that. Very, very versatile. But do y'all want to chime in a little bit? Because I didn't want to not talk about him a little bit. Or do y'all have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, he's got an assortment of cars to choose from as well, and I mean, that's what. So I guess as a foot brake racer, I mean, I'm in the same car all the time, so I mean, I know where I need to leave my spot. But he's good in his truck running 650s. He's good in his Firebird running 890s. He's got a wagon that'll run 740s. So I mean, he very versatile. I mean, I'm just looking at it from the bottom bulb side of things, but yeah, I mean, he gets after it real well on the top too. I mean, they're getting the probably less than a handful of times he done at Greer. I mean, he won the one and went rounds in the others. So you got to lay down a lap to beat him for sure.
I say to me, he's a lot like what he just had Phil on. Phil always has found himself right around the mix. Like if you look at the points at the end of the year, I think this is Phil's first championship, but Phil always found himself, and I think Cody's the same way. Cody can find himself in the mix all the time. He just don't top bowl much at all, and he'll say that he can't. He's told me that he can't. He's not good enough, but I don't want to hear that because he's always. The truck's really good. Him and Jesse did a great job. We can talk about Jesse, a good bit too. What he's done as far as fabricating and what he can do on race car. But yeah, it's just really good, and he turns loose well. And it's just cool to see that. But I didn't want to go without at least talking about Cody. Acknowledge him. I don't really have wins and runners ups in front of us, and that's I don't want to take away completely from Mike and Alicia at the banquet either, because I know they really pride themselves on acknowledging our champions too, and that's cool itself. But I guess we can jump into interviewing Mr. Fat Rabbit there.
What did he do?
They say he went down to somewhere in Alabama and won, and then I think he's track champion at Greer. I don't know if they felt sorry for him or if they miscounted. I don't know if it was the ballots were wrong or I don't know.
That's the same guy. That's the same guy that used to lead into our text messages. I'll choke and I'm going to this and I'll flub it up at the end. It's the same guy.
That's that guy. That's he.
All right. I was making sure.
Yeah, that's the same guy you're talking about.
I've been known to flub it up a time or two in my life.
Well, I know we talked about you winning on, at Montgomery in the World Finals, and a little bit about the point season when we interviewed you the other week. And you think of a track champion, you want to look at like year end. Well, he had or she had X amount of wins and X amount of runner-ups. And that necessarily wasn't the case with you this year. And you've talked to me and Chad both about it. You hadn't had the tallies as far as the wins and runner-ups. Yeah, you won and you've runner-up this year. But you just were really solid. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the season, the point season itself over there.
Well, it really was one of the craziest seasons I believe I've ever had. I actually, if I laid my book out, I'd show you that I probably drove, and I've said it, I'm driving better this year than I ever have. My lights, I mean, I'm doing my little bumping and putting it down there, tight lights, but I ain't getting no money at the end of the night. I'm getting down 4 cars. I had transmitted 2 weeks back to back. I was down to 4 cars, and my transmission, I thought it was something I did staging, but it backed out the lights. Well, we come back the next week and I'm rocking and rolling. I'm down to 4. it backs out a lot. That was 2 weeks in a row. And, you know, you always felt, I could have won this. I really felt like I could have won, or at least been in the final, at least one in probably both races. Then after that, I just kind of rocked on and just going laps. I'm going to the 4th and the 5th round, and really just ain't got nothing at all to show for nothing. And went into that last race, and subconsciously I'm like, it ain't going to happen. I've done, and we talked about that before. I've been in 6 points battles, and 3 or 4 of them I've been leading the points, and I go into that last race, and it ain't like I just crumble under pressure, because I mean I feel like I can step up when I need to step up, or I feel like I can. But I would drive good, and it was just like fate. Just, man, it ain't your time. It ain't your time. And I've just chalked it up, and I even acknowledged, you know, Ronnie Foster talking about, yeah, I've won some, but I've also lost 6 before, you know, championships. So I'm like, well, man, I don't feel too bad. That kind of, you know, I'm like, well, you know, if he's out here doing stuff like that, my time will come. And I have won a track championship in 2000, but I won a Summit Series of foot brake in 05. But I've been chipping it away. And really the last 2 years I've been runner up in the points, and it just didn't happen. Well, this year I'm sitting there, and I hate to race for points and be hanging on the fence hoping somebody does lose it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way it is. And it come down, and I'm 1 point. You know, Dave Brown, he without a doubt, you know, it should have fell his way, but you know, it didn't. And I really went to Montgomery feeling bad. I told Mike Greer when we got down there, I said, man, I think I sent Dallas a text. He was like, man, go down there and win. And I'm like, you probably should be going instead of me, because Dallas has been hot. And I just didn't feel like I was really the best driver at Greer this year. But I won it, you know, and I'm like, why did I win it? But then I go to Alabama. Didn't really feel like I probably needed to go, but again, I mean, you've even said this is a chance of a lifetime. You need to go do it. My dad, you know, and it was, you know, all in all, I drove pretty decent. The track, I love the track, but it was my time, you know, and that's the way I look at it. It was my time to win, and I did.
Well, talking about that right there, I don't know how many people really know there at the end of that points, this point season. Talk about that mechanical thrashing you had going on, because I think you had a lot going on, and a lot of people stepped in. Not a lot, but you had some main ones that you want to thank, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, we down to the I go over to the 10K, and I lost 3rd round or something. Didn't have a real good run over there, and I come up the return road, and I felt a little something in the rear end. Come back to the trailer, and I told my dad, I said, I need to. I was gonna put tires on my car, and really wasn't in a position to buy new tires at the time. And Daryl Holland, my buddy, he's probably been one of my when I'm in need, if I need some help with something, he's always ever since I've known him, he's been the one guy. He might be over at the Maddox's, and here I've got a problem with something with my car, and before I know it, he'll be, hey, what we need to do? What we need to do? Well, anyway, I had called him about some tires. So anyway, I get my tires. Well, I waited around, and partially my fault. I waited toward the end of the week. Well, this Friday afternoon, I got the car jacked up, tires off of it, and I sent it over to Dale, so I get to turning. Well, go back before I loaded the car up. I drove around Stagey Lane to see if I could. I was like, maybe I wasn't feeling it, and I drove around Stagey Lane, and I guess that kind of eased my mind. But I knew I probably need to at least spin it and check it, look at it. Well, it's Friday afternoon, and I feel a hard spot in when I turn the wheels over. So I ended up pulling the rear end out, and I had a tooth broke off of it. And like I said, it's Friday at 5:00, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, I got a spare rear end, so I'm like, well, I'll put it in. We'll be okay. That won't take me long. Well, I go to looking at it, and it's got a tooth off in it, and we had taken it out of my black car. I'm assuming it's sitting over there on the shelf, ready to go, because we had put a different gear in that car to try to help it some. But anyway, that thing was junk, and I was like, "Oh my Lord!" Well, Eddie Atwood, he's my neighbor over here, longtime friend, buddy, and I called him about a rear end, and he said he had one over there, and actually we went and got it, but it took us time we got it and got it set up. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and got home, come back over here the next morning, loaded the car up. I don't like doing that. I like for my stuff to be loaded and ready to go. I don't like to be having to do none of that. But anyway, I did. But I rode over there, and this was the next to last points race, and I just, man, that thing, it worked good. The new tires, I mean, it was just everything. And I run it up to Travis Bryant, and that kind of set me up. That gave me a little bit of a cushion there. I would have loved to beat Travis and got that extra round, but I didn't. And like I said, I about lost the points there at last race, but it all worked out.
Yeah, I know that meant a lot to you because you talked about that a bunch of different times. If that don't come together, they might not be a point championship nor a world championship. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that was a really, honestly, I've told my dad, I said, man, that one race, that one night, that one Eddie being there, Eddie having that, he just happened to have that rear end where he'd set up, and what it was, he had set a rear end up. They didn't like it. He took it back out and put something else in, and he still had the ring and pinion sitting over there, and and it just all fell into place. That's why I said, it was my time. It was just my time, and it all worked out. And like I said, my dad was, man, he is, I was so tickled just for him. Like I said, he still gets around good and does good and loves that race and eats and breathes it. Wants to go, and to be able to do that, man, he really, and Karen, my sister, she is, she eats this stuff. I tell her all the time, I'll be driving by and I'll be like, I don't even know why you come over here and waste your time watching me. Well, I love you and I like racing.
All right, Chad. I know you're sitting over there. You got something to drill him about.
Well, no, there's always the old saying, when it's your day, it's your day. I used to always try to debunk that theory, or thought I could, and well, no, I'll make it my day. But no, and if anything, this year's helped humble me on that. Like I said, I'm like Tom. I feel like I drove as good this whole year as I ever have, but I just don't have none of the results to show for it. But Tom, I guess going back to that video we had at the beginning of the show there, early 90s, we all was racing back in those days. So, and we're talking about what's happening now, but I want to go back in time if I can with you. Tell us about the first time you ever went down the track. Where was it at? What year? What was you driving? Do you remember what you ran?
The first time I ever went down the track, I was 14, and I I had a little. My dad, Dale, had built my dad's new car, and the old car, '68 Mustang, was out here. And you know, when I was 12 years old, I could do things. I mean, people would con me into doing stuff, and I could do stuff with.
I'm still con you into doing stuff now.
But I was a little advanced on that. My dad's had me working since I was just a kid. I mean, I could do stuff. But my dad said, there's a motor to transmission. If you put it in that car, you could race it. And I was like, really?
Challenges.
So, yeah. So I jumped on it, and you know, Wire Shoals about the only place I could run, and I'd go down there. I didn't get to run but 8 races. There was 8 races left at the end of the season there, and I run it up. I never did win one, but I run it up 4 times. But it was so funny. I would pull in down there. And it was, I ain't gonna mention no names, but they was people, they would try their best to get up there. And, I mean, just like fighting to get a hold of me. And but man, after about 3 or 4 weeks, I'd pull up there in line, and they'd all line up behind me. They wouldn't get up there beside me. But I was deep staging back in. Talk about old Daryl. I can remember Daryl. He's very he don't beat around the bush. But one of the funniest things I ever remember about him, the first time I ever met him, he come up to me and he's like, "Why are you staging like that?" I said, "Well, my car it leaves so slow. I got to try to get a good light, you know." And then that kind of set the turning point. And after that, we just become really, really good friends. And but anyway, Wire Shoals. And then after that, Mike wouldn't let me run up there. Something happened to the tower or something. That's been way back, and they didn't run the next year. I was 15. Mike wouldn't let me run. I let Rodney Revis drive my car a few times at Greer, but I would go to Shady Side on Friday nights, and I'd have people pull me up there, and that's where I really got hooked. And like I said, I run that thing and just kept upgrading it until 92, and that's when I got old Red, and it's been good to me.
So you talking about people jumping up there wanting to get a hold of you and run you? When I race, that's what happened to me a lot too. So, but no, seriously, what who's the one driver in it, past or present, that you get up a little extra for?
I try not to. I mean, I got people that you know that you got to get up on it. I don't know one particular driver, because it's like everybody anymore. I mean, it's
back years ago. Just say like when you started, like who was the name that you know that was the hot dogs at the time? I guess
the one. Over the years, I'd say the one that I really idolized, I'd say idolized, and you remember, I remember